Why not? Why not? Let's, we're gonna go share this out. We don't have much time today. However, I figured we could take a few minutes anyways. I wanted to make this a multi-part series anyhow. So, what we've got here, nowhere to set it, is we got a picture. Yeah, I wish we had a picture. We've got a TV with power, sound, no picture. So there's a few problems it could be, and we're going to go over quick how to diagnose something like this instead of just throwing your TV away if you suffer this problem. And a lot of what I may say today will be specific to LG and Vizio TVs for the most part. And I've really got to keep an eye on the clock because I don't have a whole lot of time. End of the day, the HP Streambook, getting Linux on that, I did find out. I did some further testing. Let's pull this back up quick for a moment. This one here is it actually has a bad trackpad. Now, how did I come to this conclusion? Well, I ran a Linux Live USB distribution, and also Cloud Ready, I think, is a distribution kind of Chrome OS that you can put on pretty much any computer, and it turns it into a Chromebook. I ran that from USB, and I also tried installing it natively to it. Got it installed, wiped it out again, but with everything that I tested, a few seconds into booting into whatever OS, the trackpad stops working. So I think it's an issue of heating up. Something is malfunctioning with it. So maybe we'll take this apart and try to diagnose it further. Or maybe we'll just order a new one and put on it. We've got a guest. We have a guest coming in very, very shortly here. Let's go ahead and take these out. And hopefully we can go over, talk about live on the air.
Here we go.
With DTPC. Okay, we need to figure out a name for like a radio station. I always want to advertise that and throw it out there. I guess I can, let me mute my mic. People, let me mute my mic. I'm gonna talk shop for a minute. I'll be back. Alright, we're back. I'm going to go ahead and write QuickBooks on this one. QuickBooks 2016 password and security question. They have a bag here somewhere for that laptop. For the Toshiba? Okay, you know where that is? Alright, well here you go. Here's all their
that down now.
You gotta price that up for him. All right, finish that up. Hold on, we gotta put the old initials. What is it? 125. Oh, it's not 18. It's 2019. Oh, could you imagine if we were back in January of 2018?
No.
2019. All right, there you go, sir. That's all on you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I know. Thanks a lot. All right, with a few minutes that we have remaining, let's go ahead and... Did it really freeze? There it goes. It came back. Okay, so with the few minutes remaining, we'll go ahead and dive right into this. Not many screws to open one of these TVs up. And I realize as soon as I get this base off here, we're going to go ahead and move the TV up a little further. Did they want those two today? That one, I guess it's not two.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, well you can sort that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. That's as done gets. Head over to, oh, what is it? All right, and don't forget malware bytes for those. This is awesome. Hey, you wanted it done. I got the important, right? Yeah. Oh, I got bosses everywhere I go. At the studio here, at work, at home. The kid. when Riley gets home, I got boss. Telling me what to do. Do you ever do that? Does anybody else do that out there? You just, not really bored, but I guess more or less entertaining yourself, right? And you can pretty much rhyme anything to any words to a tune. I don't know, is that a talent? Is that a talent worth having? Yeah. Okay, I don't know. What time is it? Yeah, we got a few minutes. I'll put 10 more minutes into this, because like I said, I want to make this a multi-parter. We're actually going to get into how I didn't already look at this once, but I already knew not the problem with it. I knew what the symptoms were with this already, so knowing what the symptoms are doesn't really help you, I suppose. Let's take the back off. Okay, so you have a couple boards once you open one of these up. Now, you got your main power board over here. And then you also you've got your driver board or your video, I don't know, people call them a couple different things. Driver board, main board, logic board, video sound board. We'll call it a main board just for all intents and purposes here. We got the main board, our DC power board, our Tcon board, which would be down here. This is another thing. Now, just from testing it and looking into it, I do know that if you plug this in and turn it on and shine it and hit like the menu button or source button, you can see a picture on screen. So doing that test narrows it down to a couple things. If you can see a picture on screen or some kind of writing when switching the source, if the TV does in fact turn on and you have a similar problem where it has sound but no picture, you're narrowing it down to it's not the panel and it's not going to be the Tcon board as far as I know. It's going to be either a problem with your main board or a problem with your LEDs. And the main board could create a problem with our LEDs. So trying not to talk off topic a lot here. Let's get our multimeter out and do a little bit of testing on this. Okay. I guess we can.
Anything else with this, did you?
No, I didn't do nothing with that. I finished up the fire hall.
That's all I need, right?
Alright, we're gonna go to, now we're working with, on this TV, if I'm not mistaken, let me look here, I think we're gonna be about 130 volts on the pin here or the power for the LEDs. Okay, so we're going to go to 200 volts DC on our multimeter. We're plugged in to our common wire, and then for volts we got continuity, diode mode, volts, ohms, and hertz. And I probably said that halfway wrong the whole way through. Now, one way that we want to start with diagnosing this is we're going to need a power cable, because we can try, I don't know that, I think most of these TVs have standby voltage. I don't know that they all do, but I know some of them do. So what we're going to do is just simply turn it on. Not turn it on, we're going to put power to it, and we can see down here that we have a red light glowing, so it is in standby. And let's do some testing right here real quick. On the DC board, if we read, we can see that powered on this top row of wires, that we have 2 rows of wires right here on this connector. There's going to be the top row and then a row underneath it of wires. The top row, it says we should have 3.5 volts, 3.5 ground, 24 volts ground, 12 volts, and a ground. So a few of these will not be connected. To test this, what you want to do is give yourself a ground somewhere. You can touch a ground screw. I like to ground it to the chassis somewhere on, just go ahead and wedge your multimeter in, find a hole where it's going to stick and not come out easily. Now, touching the first contact here, we're getting nothing with the TV off. Let's move over one more. We're getting nothing. Okay, 3.4, 3.4, that should be nothing, and then we should see 20. Okay, so we have nothing now, nothing, 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 nothing. So we at least know the standby voltage with the TV turned off is working, because on these first few pins we are getting our 3.4, 3.5 volts is what it's rated at. So we are getting at least something there. Let's do that. That'll kick it a little sideways so you guys can see the whole display. So with it powered off, we're getting a standby voltage. So we know that the standby voltage is communicating between the driver main board and our power board. We don't have any obvious signs of a failure with this right now. We know that we have power because the TV turns on. There is power, there is sound, there's just no picture. So we're going to go ahead and switch the TV on. Alright, our light flashed down here and went out. So now that the TV's on, we can see that it says power on, what the voltages will be across here, and we can check our 3.3 volts on the first pin, 3.4, which is our 3.5 on the second wire. Go to the third, should be a 3.4, 3.5. Then we're ground, and now we should see 24, 25 volts, and we do. Okay. Ground, so it'll read nothing. 12 volts there now that it's powered on. So we know we're getting power over to our main board. 12 volts, and then nothing. And then we do have some voltages on the underside of the wires. We will have another 24 volt wire. Not connected. Okay, ground not connected, 12 volt. So right in the middle, we should have, if I can find it, it's hard getting this to go in there. Alright, and there is our 25, well it says 24 volts, we're getting about 25.1, so that's good. So we know we are getting power over to our driver, or power from our power supply, our DC board, to our main board, or a driver board. And we have standby voltage coming back, so that seems to be functioning. There could be further problems with it that would stop the LEDs in this TV from powering up. If I don't have a power supply here, I'm going to bring one down. That'll be in a later part. We can show how hooking up to this, we can unplug it and hook up to it with a power supply. There's going to be in this size TV, a 32-inch TV, I forget what the range is on Vizio and LG, but 32 on up to a certain range. Even some small ones have 2 or 3 rows of LEDs. They'll have a string of LEDs running through the middle, and then one boat at the top and one boat across the bottom, or kind of like an arch this way, and then an arch this way, and then the one straight through the middle. So we need about 120 volts for that that's what's going to power it. And if we divide that down, what's 120 divided by 3? Roughly 40 volts per strip. 40, I think 48 volts is what is going to power each strip of LEDs. We don't have the power supply, so we can't pull this and test it to see if we can get, light up these individual LED strips and see them through some of the holes in the screen. So right there already we've diagnosed that our main board does have power. It has our standby voltages, and it has voltage when we power. From here is we can take a look here, and one way to see if you do have an LED strip out, and it's not 100%, but you can take and test the power. Now if you get about 120, a little over 120 volts, you know that your LEDs, which are wired in series, one after the other, are working. If you get 130 volts, you got a problem there, and if it's bouncing back and forth, you definitely have a problem. Probably one of them's out. There's a couple ways it can go, so we can go ahead and test that while we're here. Okay, so we're jumping back and forth from 124, 123, 22 volts up to 132. It's bouncing back and forth. So that right there gives me a direction to go in with what is wrong with this thing. We can assume, it's safe to say that there's a problem with the LEDs that are wired in series. So we know we have a direction to proceed in. Now, is it a problem with the LED strip or a problem with the driver board? And that is all the time we got for today. We'll pick this back up again, maybe this weekend. Definitely not during the podcast. This would be boring material for a podcast and 2 other people sitting here talking. So on Monday again. Monday toward the end of the day, I think we'll pick this up and continue diagnosing. But that right there, you know you got a problem with the LEDs. Is something on your main board not making them light? Or is it a problem with the LED strips that is not making them light? As always, thanks for watching. If you clicked the link and got over here to watch this, thank you. I do appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you this weekend. Have a good one, guys. I'm going to head to that place. What do we call it? Oh yeah, work.
Corporate area.
The corporate area. The corporate office is calling. So let's just get flipped back over here for a moment while I've got to clean up. I still have a minute to talk. So we know, this TV, picture with no sound, most people would probably go have it looked at, and who knows how much a repair shop's going to want to fix this. But as long as you're not poking around with the TV powered on, you're not going to short nothing out. Something you can do it safely, or if you know how to use a multimeter safely, you could diagnose this yourself, and instead of the TV being a goner, for under $100, you should be able to fix your TV if it is a problem with the LEDs. Now, if it's a problem with the main board, you can usually get these from like $15, $20 on up to $30, $40, $50 for a new main board, and then that would fix your TV. But we don't yet know if it's a problem with our LED lighting or with our main board here. So we will check this out again further on Monday and diagnose it a little further down. We're going to rip into it further. That's where the fun stuff begins, where we are actually going to take and tear into our panel, tear the glass screen off, take off the start testing on the LEDs to try and find the fault if it is with the LEDs. So it's taking something that can be complicated if you don't understand it and trying to simplify it a little, and maybe you could fix your TV, or you could help fix somebody else's TV if you wanted to. Thanks for watching. I gotta go. Have a marvelous weekend. Tune in Sunday for the Antisocial Experience podcast with Aaron, Tim, and myself. We'll see you then.